Hello, English lovers. Welcome to Felicity's YouTube channel. Today, we are going to explore another very important topic in English language titled Active and Passive Voices. Do you often get confused between active and passive voice? Well, worry no more. By the end of today's video, you will have a better understanding of the active and passive voices. Before we continue, please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's dive in. What is active voice? Active voice is when the subject of the sentence performs the action. An active voice is when the subject of a sentence performs the action described by the verb. For example, the dog bites the man. The dog bites the man. Here, the dog is the subject performing the action. So, with active voices, we follow the normal English structure, which is subject, verb, object. Let's have another example. The teacher teaches the students. The teacher teaches the students. Here, the teacher is the subject performing the action. What is passive voice? Passive voice is when the subject of the sentence receives the action described by the verb. Passive voice is when the subject of the sentence receives the action described by the verb. Let's have an example. The man is beaten by the dog. The man is beaten by the dog. Here, the man is the subject receiving the action. Another example, the students are taught by the teacher. The students are taught by the teacher. Here, the student is the subject receiving the action. How do we form active voices? In order for us to be able to form active voice, we use the verb to be in the correct tense plus the past participle of the main verb. We use the verb to be in the correct tense plus the past participle of the main verb. For example, let's have an active subject or an active sentence. The chef cooks the meal. The chef cooks the meal. This sentence is in the simple present tense. Now, if we want to change this sentence into a passive one, we also have to maintain the sentence in the simple present tense. For example, the meal is cooked by the chef. The meal is cooked by the chef. Now, when do we use the passive voice? We use the passive voice when the doer of the action is unknown. If we do not know the person or the person that is performing the action, we are allowed to use the passive voice. Or if the person is unknown or unimportant. Yes, let's put it that way. Now, we want to emphasize the action rather than the doer. We also use the passive voice when we want to emphasize on the action rather than emphasizing on the doer of that action. Now, we also use passive voice when we want to make the sentence more formal. Let's have more examples. The play was written by Shakespeare. The play was written by Shakespeare. Here, the focus is on the play not on the writer. The focus is on the play, not on the writer. Let's have another example. The new policy has been implemented. The new policy has been implemented. Here, the focus is on the policy and not the implementer. The focus is on the policy and not the implementer. Okay, what are some of the mistakes we need to avoid when changing from active to passive? One common mistake we should avoid is using passive voice when the active voice is more suitable. There are situations in English language that we are supposed to use the active voice. We are supposed to lay emphasis on the subject. So, in these situations, using the passive voice is not advisable. So, this is one mistake that we should avoid. Another mistake is to avoid using wrong verb tenses in the passive voice. The example we just gave above had a sentence in the active voice in the simple present tense. So if we want to change to the passive voice, it should equally be in the simple present tense. That is what we mean by we should avoid using wrong verb tenses. Okay, that's it for today's video on active and passive voice. I hope you now have a better understanding of how to use these two voices correctly. Remember, practice, 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 because I always say practice makes perfect. So, try changing active voice to passive voice and vice versa in order to improve or know how much you've understand this lesson. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please, if you have any issue, any topic or worry you would like me to address, leave that in the comment section. I'll go through and I'll address it. Thank you for watching. Remain blessed.